Let's try to understand a basic agent working functionality using React framework. Some of you who is not aware of what is React framework, this is basically a prompting technique or a prompt engineering technique which stands for reasoning and action. So how this technique works is basically you are telling to LLM through your prompt that this is how you have to think and this is how you have to act. We are going to see some examples now of this. But before that, let me tell you a few more components what will make the agentic flow a complete flow. So in general, how do you interact with large language model is this is user, this is you and you and me go and ask a question to a large language model and large language model gives us the response. This is how we generally interact with the large language models. How it will be different in the world of agentic framework is you will interact with the agent. Okay, so here there will be an agent. You will be interacting with the agent. Agent on your behalf will be interacting with the large language models, and agent will also have some tools that will support the agent. So here is the user, here is the agent. Agent has large language model which it can use, and agent has some tools also which it can use. And this entire thing will be orchestrated using an orchestration framework. So we will see these details later, but at a very high level, end user will interact with the agent will interact with the LLM and maybe utilize some tools in the background, and then the final answer will be given to the user. So this is a flow at very high level. Now we spoke about a React prompting. So this will be always through prompts, right? So user will interact through prompts. So if you are using a React prompting technique here, then the way agent will work is basically thought and action way. So how agent will work, how the flow of agent will be, it will be basically a thought. Okay, thought means what should be done, and then action means the task of actually doing it. So thought, then action, and from the action some response will go, and then again thought, and then again action. So this loop will continue basically. Let us see the example and then it will become very, and how agents are built from scratch using some basic snippets. Okay, so I'm going to create a new Jupyter notebook here. I'm going to name it basic agent so that we will able to learn from every step how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a framework called LangChain for this purpose. And if you are not aware of what is this LangChain framework, then LangChain is basically a framework that helps you to build LLM applications in a very fast way, effective way, and comfortable way. So basically, it makes developers' life very easy. By that framework, you will be able to build the LLM apps very fast. Let's try to understand what is LangChain with some code snippets, and we will see how it is helping in the building tool. First of all, I'm going to import some packages here, and I'm going to explain you what these packages do. But let me just put some packages here, and these packages are from LangChain. If you see tool I'm importing, DuckDuckGo search I'm importing, search run, prompt template, chat OpenAI, LLM chain, initialize agent and agent type. So these are from LangChain. Don't worry, I'm going to show you examples from all these now. So let me import this first, and let me import some more packages which will help me to execute my agent. Two more packages which I'm importing here. One is called requests, another is called beautiful soap. If you know Python, then you might be identifying these packages. These are basically used to work with the websites, web pages, etc. So we will use this for building our agent. And I'm going to import two more packages which will help me to get my OpenAI key. So if you see here, I'm importing from .env, load.env, from OpenAI, and I have kept my .env file in this location where there is my OpenAI key. So I'm going to load that. This will help me to get my OpenAI key in my environment. So what you can do is you can create a .env file. You can simply put there OpenAI key is equal to your key and do this, give the path, and your key also will be loaded. Fine. So this is about initial packages what we will need. Now I'm also going to suppress the warnings, otherwise we will get a lot of warnings unnecessarily because all these packages keep getting updated, the methods keep getting updated. So I'm just, suppressing warning for some time now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how LangChain works and how it helps you. So the first concept of LangChain that I'm going to explain you is prompt template. So what is prompt template? So basically when you work with large language models or when you interact with any LLM, right, you will write prompts. So what LangChain does is it makes your life easy by something known as prompt template. So if you see, I'm importing from langchain.prompt templates. And here I'm saying define a simple prompt template. Okay. In this template, you can give a variable like this. And then this variable you can use in your template. So here name is my variable. And I'm saying hello, curly brace name. How can I help you today? So any variable, any value I can give in the place of name and I can prepare my template. Basically, you can think of a template, a prompt is getting prepared using a variable. So in the third line, if you see formatted prompt is equal to prompt template dot format name is equal to Aman. So imagine that this is my formatted prompt. And now in place of name, I can pass anything. For example, if I pass John, right? So here it will be John. If I pass any other name, right? So my prompt gets changed. So a very basic concept, but very important concept. So this is the very first thing of LangChain that you should know. Prompt template. What is prompt template? Prompt template basically enables you to make your prompts dynamic using the variables. So I encourage you to, change this little bit and see how the prompt template is working. Let's go ahead and see the next concept of LangChain, which is important for you. That is basically how to work with Chat OpenAI or OpenAI ChatGPT model using LangChain. So basically, I'm importing from LangChain chat models, import Chat OpenAI. Then I'm initializing the OpenAI chat model, which model I want to use. You can give any model here. And then I'm just asking something to the model and I can get a response. So for example, here I'm saying, what is the capital of USA? And I'm printing the response. So if you see here, I have imported my OpenAI key here. So don't confuse. From these lines, my key is already imported. And then I'm very well able to invoke my model and I'm going to ask this question. Fine. Now what you can do is you can simply come here and you can bind these two things together. So I'm going to show you, I showed you prompt template. I showed you how you can talk to chat OpenAI. So how these two things become more powerful, let's see here. So from LangChain, I'm importing chat OpenAI, which we have done here. From LangChain prompt template, which I showed you one example. And from LangChain.chains, I'm importing something known as LLM chain. Fine. Now, same way I'm importing this model. If you see here, this model, same way I'm importing. And then if you see here, I'm passing a learn template here. So my learn template is, I want you to act as a consultant for a AI training. Fine. Return a list of topics and why it is important to learn in given area of AI. The description should be relevant to recent developments in AI, advancement in AI. What are some good topics to learn in AI? So what I'm saying is, this is a template in which I'll be passing my prompt. And if you identify this, this is the variable. So in prompt template, I will pass my input variable as AI topic and template will be my learn template basically. So in the same way, like I was passing names here. So when I passed David, it printed David. When I passed Aman, it printed Aman. So if I pass here AI topic, let's say data science, let's say statistics, let's say ethical AI, let's say deep learning. So my prompt will be prepared accordingly. And then I'm passing this, please suggest me topics to learn in ethical AI. So this becomes my description. And what happens is prompt template dot format AI topic is equal to discussion. Okay. So I pass this here as a variable and it will take that. Now the third component that I've imported here is LLM chain. What chains make you do is chains will run both these processes one by one. So first prompt template will be prepared, then this model will be called. So if you see here, I'm saying chain is equal to LLM chain, LLM is equal to LLM, prompt is equal to prompt template. So two things are happening here. First, the model is getting defined with what template, with what prompt, the prompt template. Okay. So now if I run this in ethical AI, what will happen is my model will get called with this template. Okay. And this prompt basically. And if you can see here, right, in ethical AI, it is telling me these are the topics to learn. And if I change this something like any new topics in the world of AI, or let's say in general deep learning only. So what will happen is uh, based on my learn template, right? This template will get passed to the model, and it will give me return a list of topics in this deep learning topic. So if you see deep learning topic, neural network, CNN, etc., it's returning me. Fine. So what I'm trying to show you is how OpenAI works with basic agent. So I'm going to write some codes here and I'm going to explain you. If at this moment I encourage you to just go ahead and try to do some experimentation with this, that will help you a lot. And if you have understood how OpenAI, chains, and these things are working together, then let's go ahead and try to build our first basic agent. So I'm going to write some codes here and I'm going to explain you. If you see here from langchain.agents, I'm importing initialize agent and agent type. Okay. These things you are already familiar of from LangChain chat model chat OpenAI, but one more component from langchain.tools import tool. Now I have explained what is tool little bit in the introduction. Tools are basically, you can think of helpers to make agent work in the intended way. So here I'm defining a simple tool. So tool is basically a function here. Whatever string you give as input, it will say tool response, and that is the output. Very simple, just to make you understand how tools and agents work. Okay. And here you have to say that the my tool. So you are defining a tool here. You are calling that my tool. Tool dot from function. So you are trying to create a tool here. So I will just give a comment here. Creating tool from function. So here you have defined a function, and here you are creating a tool from the function. So you are giving a name of the tool and a description of the tool. What function it should refer to? My tool function. So my tool function is here. Fine. I'm going to comment this line for some time and explain you later what it will do. But let's initialize a chat open model. Let's give my tool as the tool. And here, if you see, I have initialized the agent with tools. Tools is basically what tools my agent has. LLM is basically what model it has. Agent type is basically what kind of framework you are using when you are interacting with the LLM. So basically what type of agent. So here I am using zero shot React description. Okay, so React is basically what I was explaining while explaining the theoretical part. So basically this is a thought action based mechanics that will work here. And what I'm saying, response is equal to agent.run, and I'm asking a question. And then I'm printing the response. So I will just explain one more time what is happening here. As I was telling in the theory, agent will interact with two things. One is LLM and other are tools. So LLMs are already there, but tools we need to create. How we are creating tools? We are defining a function here, and from this function we are creating a tool here. This tool we are passing to the LLM, to the agent, and the LLM also we are passing to the agent. Once we pass these two things, then we have to also call what kind of agent we want, and then our agent is ready. Once the agent is ready, I can ask agent some question. So remember, this is a React based agent, so it will work on thought action, that phenomena. Let's try to see how it is working. So let me run this, and you will see here some messages. This is very, very critical to understand what is happening here. What's weather like today in London is my prompt. Okay. If you see here, entering new agent executor chain. So a new chain is getting started here. In this chain, what should be the first thing? The first thing should be thought. So this is the thought. I need to use the simple tool to find out weather in London. This is thought. Okay. And this thought should be followed by an action. So what is the action? Action is simple tool. So it is trying to call this simple tool. What is my tool? My tool is this simple tool. Name of the tool is simple tool. So it is trying to call this simple tool. And action input is with what parameter this agent will call the simple tool. So parameter is weather in London today. So imagine this simple tool, which is basically this function, it is getting called with this input. What is the input? Weather in London today. When it gets called, then internally what will happen? This function will get called. When this function will get called, what will happen is it will simply return the same thing. So as you can see here, observation means what the tool is returning. Observation, tool response, weather in London today. But here, weather in London today is not giving the right response of weather. So what the thought comes after that is, I need more specific information about the weather, such as temperature or precipitation. It tries to again call the tool if there is some capability in the tool to give the exact weather. But unfortunately, tool is not able to give. So it is again asking temperature in London today. And tool is again responding temperature in London today. Thought, I now have the final answer. So basically it tried 2 times, but there is no right response or desired response coming. So whatever the final response is coming right, the same thing it is LLM is, somehow pasting in the information. This is not the right information, but just it is pasting that information. The critical thing to understand here is how agent is working with a prompt, calling tools and generating output from the LLM. So please try to understand this agent here. We are running this agent with this function, with this prompt. When you call this agent with this prompt, agent has some tools which it can use. So in this scenario, it has only one tool, my tool function.tool DuckDuckGo search run. What it will help you to do is it will help you to do a web search of your. What we need to do here is we need to give agent one more tool which it can use to fetch some relevant information. And that is what this DDG search will do. So DuckDuckGo search, basically, if you see on the top, I have imported DuckDuckGo search. Okay. So if you see here from langchain.community.tool DuckDuckGo search run, what it will help you to do is it will help you to do a web search of your code. So let me give this capability to the LLM as well. So DuckDuckGo search tool, and in the tools, I will add this as well. Please pay attention here. These are very, very critical components. I'm making my agent more capable by adding one more tool. Now let's see how my agent behaves with the same question. Entering new executor chain, and immediately it says, I should use DuckDuckGo search. Previously it said I should use my tool function or simple tool. But now it is saying I should use DuckDuckGo search. Out of the tools, it is first looking at DuckDuckGo. Okay. So here we are looking like this. And then current weather in London is searched. Some observation means response has come. I now have the final answer, and final answer is current weather in London is this with a chance of rain and wind blowing. And finished chains. Finished chains means agent LLM has returned the answer. So this is the answer. What has happened here, guys? We have made the agent more capable by adding one more tool here. So if you add one more tool, agent became more capable. Your agent has two knowledge information or two supports with which it will work. One is tools, one is LLM. So LLM already we are not changing anything in LLM. So we are adding some more tools here. Moving on, let's try to create a more real world example of how the tools will work with internet basically. So I'm going to give here a prompt template, and I'm going to say summarize the following content is my prompt template. I have a LLM model and I have a summarized tool. So what this summarized tool will do is it will basically run this LLM chain. Okay. So what this chain does, it will simply ask to summarize. And when I define my tools right, I will say that I have a DuckDuckGo search as well here. So let me define my tools here. And in the tools, I will say that I have a DuckDuckGo search tool that we were using previously here. The same search tool I can use here as well. And then I can initialize the agent with tools is equal to tools, agent type is equal to 0 sort react description again, LLM, and these are some common components. We can keep the same. So what kind of tool my agent will have now? my agent will have two tools. One is DuckDuckGo search, another is summarizer tool. Fine. With these two tools, let's try to ask some question to the agent. So here what we can do is we can simply say, please tell me best place to visit in England. So let's see how it works. First of all, it is saying I should use DuckDuckGo search tool to find information about the best places. Action DuckDuckGo search best places to visit. It gets some response. Wherever you see observation, observation means response. This is your response. Then it says I should summarize the information I found best places to visit in England. Action summarizer tool. Action input. The web page containing information about okay. The web page provides information. Top tourist destination. I now know the final answer. And here is the final answer. So this is the finished chain. So this is your input and this is your output. If I ask a different question here, please tell me how to become a good footballer. Okay. So I'm asking a different question. It should again go to DuckDuckGo search and it should again go to summarize tool and give us the response. See, tips for becoming a good footballer. This is the response from first tool, and then it says now I can summarize the information. This is the action, this is the observation, okay, and this is basically the finished chain, that is the final output. So the key thing to understand here is how tools is working in conjunction with LLM and giving you the desired output. I encourage you to change these prompts, play around with these components, tools, and just get a fix. Tell in 2 lines. And I will analyze this output live with you by firing the same query. Before you go to quizzes and assignments, I want to give you more confidence on your learning in this section. And I will start with firing a simple query in ChatGPT. So my query is how to use olive oil in pizza, tell in 2 lines. And I will analyze this output live with you by firing the same query one more time. So the same query one more time and we will compare these two outputs. As you can see, these two outputs are different. And this property of large language model is called non-determinism. The outputs are not deterministic in nature when you work with large language models or generative AI in general. Why I am telling you this? I am telling you this because your outputs in agentic AI can be different than my outputs and it's perfectly fine. Don't panic. Don't think that why your outputs are different, because that is the core nature of LLMs and the tools we are using. First thing I want to tell you is whatever LLMs or even API calls we are making to different tools, right? It could be LLMs or it could be different tools we are using. For example, we used a tool called DuckDuckGo search, right? So this tool DuckDuckGo search can also behave differently on different occasions for the same prompt, same search query. If you want to test, you can run the same code block 2 times and you will see that there are 2 different outputs. The takeaway from this point is, if your output is different than someone else's output, don't worry. If your agent is working like you expect it to work, that's perfectly fine. Outputs are not that important as long as flow is how you expect it to be. The second point I want to bring here is, I have intentionally put fixed package versions for Python. Fixed package versions. And as you know, the space is changing very fast, so newer versions keep coming. But why I have kept a fixed version? Very simple thing here, guys. This may be your first course in agentic AI, so I don't want you to scare with lot of different experimentation. You try to do something and that breaks and then you feel like you are not learning anything. That is something I want to avoid. Hence, I have fixed package versions. You install those versions, your code will run, you will know how the system is working, and what I am optimizing here is for learning and confidence. I am optimizing for your learning and confidence. I am not optimizing for keeping you updated on the latest developments in all the tools, all the packages that is happening. Agentic AI is a very vast field, guys. You need to understand how agents work first, very well. and then these things automatically will come. And that is how production projects also work, by fixing the package versions. Otherwise, if we keep changing this, code will break. Okay. And the third thing, the measure of success of this course you should decide, or you should understand based on if you are understanding the flow of agent, if you are understanding how the agent is calling tools and how different agents are talking to each other, if you are understanding how the agent is falling back on LLM when tools don't respond. In the agentic AI space, you have to understand the flow and the concept of agents. If you are understanding these things well, then other things will just come to you naturally. Okay? Keep in mind, outputs may vary. Python packages are fixed intentionally for a reason, and flow, concepts, and understanding the